Hello, my dears.
Kidoki.
Good evening. And today we had a not typical broadcast because usually we have only one person, only two. But today we try to do it together with the Batman and Blazhei. Gentlemen, said hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And traditionally, we do our sound check. If you hear me good, write plus in the chat. If you hear Blazhei and Batman good, same shit. But if you don't hear us, just to say that, hey, we don't hear you, Pasha, do something with this.
I think it's good. I'm listening on the other device and the sound is good for everybody. So we should see here's B pluses for.
We see first places from the AK Cross 74, and my dears, today's sponsor of my clothes on this broadcast is the Jeffrey K. Croat. She's sent me this lucky t-shirt. It's like my lucky cap, green. Thanks. I will do streams in this very good t-shirts, and I'm see that. Everybody see us and everybody hear us, and it's very, very good, beautiful. And my dears, as you know, we do a short trip in Ukraine because we announced it before on a previous broadcast. And these gentlemen from the Poland, they come in Ukraine and see something, do something. I think these guys talk about this. More details, give about this more details a little later. But first question to you guys, Batman and Blazhei, what was your vision? Tell to our viewers what was your vision about Ukraine before you come there and see what you see in Ukraine.
Yeah, I think it's a question for Blazhei because I've been coming to Ukraine for a better part of the last two and a half years.
Yeah, so. For sure.
Fire away, bro. What did you think about Ukraine before you started coming with me and Blazhei?
I don't think nothing bad. Yeah, you need to understand it. I don't feel nothing bad. I don't have any mind, bad mind about the Ukraine, but I don't have nothing compared with the Ukrainian people. I only see the Ukrainian people in Poland, and everybody knows it's not a good view, and especially for Ukrainian nation, because we have some problems. Yeah, it's not always problem because it's a lot of people who work very hard and they are very good people and they're good workers, but we have some problems with the young guys who should maybe, if they have opportunity to fight in Poland between themselves, the Polish people, maybe they can go and fight with the enemy, in Ukraine. So that's the biggest problem because the Polish people don't understand that, and they only see the young guys who is drinking, who is making trouble, and wondering why they are not in the Ukraine and not fighting for the country, for the freedom.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, and the second thing is that a couple years ago, and I think it's something like 20 years ago, I have idea to go to the Chernobyl. Yeah, and I thinking about it, and I start looking for the trip to the Chernobyl, and I know that it was a lot of companies who organize everything, and you can go there, but I don't know, it's this company politic, or it's that we don't know nothing about the Ukraine, but the information that I had is that in Ukraine it's really dangerous because the police is corrupted, and it's dangerous because of people. So better when you go with some company who will, take you almost from the house and drive you to the Chernobyl, and it will be 100% sure. So, it's some kind of stupid information that we have in Poland. I think that people who are close to the border know the Ukrainian people, and especially the Ukraine. I have some from my grandmother was in Lviv, after Second World War. Yeah, she need to go there, and she lived a couple years in Lviv. So I heard the story about Lviv, the Ukrainian people. So that's why maybe I don't have the same mindset as have the normal Polish people or normal European people. But I need to say, and you need all of know that I changed my mindset because I spent some time because it was the third, fourth trip, I don't remember, to the Ukraine, and this one was specially to spend the time with the Ukrainian people in the Ukrainian cities and not working, spend the time with the people and to watch the city, watch the buildings, everything, and spend time eat and have fun.
Blazhei, is the very funny things about that dangerous Ukraine before full-scale invasion when I'm explained it's like only Chernobyl zone. It's the safety from corruption, safety from police. But this company don't talk that thanks for the corrupted police. That thanks for corrupted police, you can go in Chernobyl and walk in like a tourist. Because when I served in First President's Brigade, I was in a service in Chernobyl in very long time, and I see this situation with the police. Really, it's really funny when they give access for the tourist, for the foreign company, but it's shit, it's the very funny things that what was before full-scale invasion, but now our country more dangerous than 20 years ago, as you said. And the first things what you said is the young boys and other, who can broke opinion about Ukrainian and who can make bad opinion about Ukrainian in the European country, not only in Poland, is the young boy, young or adult mans who sit in a European country, in a Poland, and do shit. And your question is the very correct question, right question. Why then don't go in Ukraine and don't fight for Ukraine? Because on the first time when full-scale invasion started and people leave from Ukraine to the European country for looking for the safety, yes, it was okay. And in this time we can give name for these people as a refugee, because they leave from the war, they leave from the dangerous, but as you know, and you Polish people know that not every people who live from Ukraine, they live from the war. It's like your Batman example when you talk about taxi driver from Ivano-Frankivsk or something like this. And now we have a term or name or special word for this man's. We say it Uchylant. Uchylant is the man who just leave from the country, leave his country in a bad situation.
In English, the word for Uchylant is draft dodger.
Very difficult word. I can't repeat this. Spell it.
Uchylant is better. I think Uchylant is better. But I need to add something, because when the war starts in Poland, especially in Poznań where I live, we see a lot of trains with the women, with the kids, but also, and it's true, I see the guy who is leaving from Poznań and going to Ukraine to fight with the Russians, So it was always two views, You see the woman with the child who's going to the Poland, and the fire department help them, and the volunteers help them, and you see a lot of guys who had bags on their back, and going to the train, and even when you even don't need to ask, you know that they are going to the Ukraine to fight for their country. So, and in this time was a big problem with the company, especially with the building companies, because they have employees and they have problem with the buildings, with renovation, everything. So it's true that a lot of guys go there. So it's a great word, Uchylant, because women came here, kids came here, the guys who want to fight for the freedom of the nation go to the Ukraine, so Uchylant stay.
It's I can actually say a few words about my view of Ukraine before the war started, before I started coming to Ukraine,
Before you
because
come first time
uh,
as a volunteer, yeah?
yeah, because I've been, as some of you probably know, I've been to Ukraine already a few times in 2015. I was doing a little bit of trade with some Ukrainian companies, and I also participated in the works for uh, establishment of the uh, Alpha Training Center in near Kyiv. And at that time, it was 2015. At that time, I have a comparison, right? It's more about a comparison. I mean, like I see how Kiev and that area in particular, the left bank of Kiev, how it looked then, and believe me, that was a place that you didn't want to walk alone at night without a knife on you. Yeah, like definitely not the right place to be. And now I went into Ukraine at the beginning of the full-scale invasion in 22, and I'm like, wow, is this the same city that I've seen, like just 7 years before? It's like it changed so much. It changed so much for the better. For me, it was a shock. Like apart from the shock of a full-scale invasion happening, like and bombs dropping and tanks firing and everything, it was a shock for me to see the city. Uh, Especially in the areas that were usually considered dodgy, let's call it that. They developed significantly. Like there's a lot of construction. Apartment buildings that are for a minimum of 30 stories high. Like we don't have anything like that in Poland because most construction that is above uh, 10 stories is not going to be residential, it's only going to be offices. And there you go to Kiev and you see all these 30, 40-story apartment buildings, and you're like, wow. Yeah, and they're all brand new, right? Built in the last 7 years. Yeah. So, yeah, and that was a shock to me. I mean, like I didn't do a lot of driving in 2015, so I couldn't say the word roads got better, uh, but they were definitely worse then, even in the in and around Kiev, than they are now. And even over the last 2 years, some major roads in Ukraine have been completely refurbished because I know that in the beginning of 22, like it was quite a big of an issue to actually get a car full of people, especially that I was driving an Audi sedan, and at one time I had 7 people on board. So yeah, not really the best
And
car
how this done? 7 people?
to yeah, I had 7 people from parking back. Yeah, and I was the eighth guy. Yeah, they were sitting on each other's laps, and we were uh, driving on fields because the Kiev highway from Poltava to Kiev was blocked because the Russians were approaching Brovary, and so we had to take a detour from the Kiev Kharkiv highway, and we went through Kaniv, and the road from the highway to Kaniv is like it was dead. It's like really sometimes it would be better for the car for you to drive on the side curb than on the actual tarmac because the tarmac was so run down. It was better to drive on the dirt road right beside the tarmac. Yeah, but hey, like I do see development in that field as well because I was traveling quite significantly in Ukraine in the beginning, and later I also did quite a lot of driving, and I see a lot of development happening, a lot. Yeah, so that's good, and a lot of people don't seem to get that, like that this is a normal country, and this I think this is the thing that we want to address. Yeah.
Yeah, in a general, what I can say about this. some guys have vision of Ukraine from the, I don't know, wrong information from the media, from the social networks. Some guys was in Ukraine in a during not best time in Ukraine, because as you Batman said in 2015, renovation is Kyiv is started because it's interesting, but in a different city in Ukraine, renovation of the city was started in the different times, because, for example, Kharkiv was renovated since 2014. It's just a for example. Kyiv in 2015 was a very dirty city. And in 2016 it was a very dirty city, and I think that to the 2018, if I don't mistake, because when you come on a central square on Maidan, you can see how homeless people just sleeping near road, and it was okay. Now we do have this, but in a subway station. But on the top, in the center of city, we don't see the situation. And the ones of the good things of renovation in Ukraine, it was that small shops, as we say it, MAF is the small business, but shitty business. I don't know, with the cigarette shop, shop by shop, and that was deleted from the streets in Ukraine, in all of the city. But no, we now not about this, about renovation. We will talk a little later. But what we see in a general, you had speech, Batman, and what we see that. General opinion about Ukraine consists from the different source of this information, and for sorry, but at this moment, this information, I think that not best as we can have, because first mistake, I think I can say mistake, that first mistake is about general safety in Ukraine. Yes, because as we talked about it on a previous broadcast, some foreign think that if you go across the Ukrainian border, you can die. Is first. Immediately die, just across the border from the Polish, Romanian, Moldovan, doesn't matter. Just you go in Ukraine and you die. It's a general mistake. Second mistake, it was opinion from the so many European people that Ukrainian is the very, very poor country. They have nothing, no architecture, they living without room, without toilets, or something like this. And I think that when we will show something for our viewers, for our people, his opinion will change it. And third mistake about Ukrainian, in its opinion that was made from the Ukrainian in Europe, and as Blazhei told, is the opinion about Ukraine from the Ukrainian in Europe, from people who live from country, doesn't matter in what country, in Great Britain, in Poland, in Germany, doesn't matter. They worked on a shitty job and said a lot shit about Ukraine, because here he have not opportunity, for example, to go in a other job. It's a for example because he have enough brain in his head. Is that just an example or other reason? And it's too about this point that this Ukrainian make shit in Europe, and all Europeans think that all Ukrainian is the same shit as those who sit in Europe. And I hope that thanks for the our trip, these opinions and this myth we can broke, we can destroy it. I'm right, Blazhei?
Yeah, sure. We don't need to look long. Yeah.
And then you dropped out.
It's just my problems. My problems with internet. I'm sorry. I'm just my dears who don't know. I'm in vacation. I'm sitting in a village. Maybe you heard dogs. near me. Maybe you had a gypsy on a shitty car with a shitty engines, very loud engine. But yes, and shitty internet. It's all about Ukrainian village close to the front line. I'm sorry, Blazhei, can you continue
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
thought?
yeah, yeah. So I think I don't know where we cut it, but I talked about the same situation we had in Poland, and I think the people opinion changed, especially when the people came to Poland to visit Poland, not the normal Polish people. So
Yeah.
I think our viewers need to understand that it's and we will say a couple times in all our movies and our streams or everything that is the big difference between the Ukrainian people who lived in other countries, yeah, and looking for a job, and the normal Ukrainian people who stay in their country because they are really, really nice, always grateful, always help us, yeah. We always see the smile. We can talk with the people, yeah. And I see the difference between the people in Poland, the Ukrainian people who live in Poland and the people who normally live in the Ukraine, and it's a big difference, really big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is something that I've started noticing even over the last 2 years. The vast majority of the people that stayed behind and didn't return to Ukraine, because you need to understand that as far as I get my numbers correct, I think Poland officially took in 5 million, not counting the ones that went further. Yeah, we took 5 million in, and now, like 2.5 years after the war started, only about 1.5 million still live in Poland. They've either moved out to the west or they came back to Ukraine. So and that's exactly what Pasha said. Like everybody was panicking in the beginning, that everybody just left. Yeah, and then they realize that it's not really so dangerous unless you're really close to the front line, and they just came back because you need to understand whenever you evacuate, uh, whether it's internal relocation within your own country or whether you become a refugee in a foreign country, this will just completely break your life, like completely break your life, and this is something that I talked about in the Get Ready for War lectures, that you really need to think twice before you make a decision just to evacuate yourself, because um, there are certain things that might make your life absolutely miserable in this new place. For example, if you go to a foreign country and you don't have a trade that can get you a decent work in those countries, right? And for example, you don't speak their language, which is another limiting factor, and you're going to end up, washing dishes at a restaurant. And there's a limited amount of restaurants that need washing dishes, so you might end up in a situation where you might not even have a job for several months, and then you've got kids and everything, and providing for the family, and that might be a problem in itself. And another thing that I've noticed, that the majority that stayed behind in Poland at the moment, um, they are Russian speaking Ukrainians. Like, there's very, very few Ukrainians now in Poland that are Ukrainian speakers. Uh, it can be interpreted twofold. Yeah, they're either from the east, right? That was predominantly Russian speaking, and they're real refugees that lost everything during the war because their house got destroyed or their house is currently still under occupation and whatnot. But then again, like, there's also from what I see and how they, for example, intermingle with the Russians, like ethnic Russians that are here, right? There's also a good percentage that I think that they're outright separatists that don't want to be in Ukraine, and they just use the possibility to flee Ukraine the way that they did. You Difficult things, and that's the problem, because that people in Poland see it, and draw their opinions based on how they behave and how what their attitude towards the war is, what their attitude towards the armed forces of Ukraine is, about their willingness to go and fight, and then on top of that they start causing problems, right? The crime in Poland was on an all-time low. Like Poland is a super safe country. Yeah, especially when you consider some other European countries or like some states of the U.S. We're super safe. Like there's 99% of cities. Like a girl can walk at night by herself and nobody's gonna bother her. Any part of each city, right? But when these people, when these, it's hard to call them refugees anymore, but when these people started settling in, crime started, going up a little bit, and that started to be an issue. And like, we are here. Our main job in this new project is to break this attitude, this false information, because the only the only people that actually benefit from the bad image of Ukraine on a worldwide stage is Russia. Yeah, it has to be said. Like even if the problem is or the issue is with some corruption that's in Ukraine, well, yeah, there is corruption in Ukraine, obviously, right? And there are things that are coming out that like somebody can question themselves. Well, why should we give more if all this money is going to go to somebody's pocket, right? But you can't forget that first and foremost there are security services within Ukraine that are fighting against corruption, and it's their job to fight against corruption, and it is being done. But second of all, um, the lack of help. If we stop helping Ukraine now, it's not the oligarchs that or the corrupt officials that are gonna feel the impact of it. It's the guys on the front line that are actually fighting that are going to feel the impact. So by trying to punish the corrupt guys and the oligarchs, you will actually punish the guys that are defending their home country. Yeah, and that's why we should break this attitude that like Ukraine is bad. It's only a corrupt country, and like they're only demanding everything all the time. Come on. These guys are a shield of Europe and the shield of the free world for the last 2.5 years. And like I still have all my guys fighting in. They're actually very close to where Pasha is now. All my guys. So they're very close to where you are now. So. Yeah, and you need everybody in the West needs to understand that the view of Ukraine that's being spread by the media, spread by the views about all the refugees, and it's not Ukraine. It's just not Ukraine. It's not what the Ukrainians stand for. The Ukrainians that are fighting for their country, and we cannot stop helping Ukraine. Uh, because we look at these people, this bad side of people that just hold a Ukrainian passport, right? It's the guys on the front line that really need our help, and that's why we're here to show you what Ukraine is really at, or what Ukraine is really about. Yeah, because the biggest eye opener that I know for a fact, because I have friends from all over the world, the biggest eye opener for those people was to come to Poland and actually see the cities, see the countryside, experience the culture and everything. Unfortunately, well, there's still an active war going on in Ukraine, and not every one of you will be willing to make a trip. So we decided we'll just drive around Ukraine, show you the best parts of Ukraine and some of the bad parts of Ukraine as well, so you know what's what. Yeah, and I'm sure you'll be enjoying this next series that we're just announcing now, and look forward to the episodes about discovering Ukraine.
Thanks, Batman, for these good words. I think this the best words what you can hear, because yeah, it's really true. We wanna see on Ukraine in Ukraine, but not on a Ukrainian in Europe. And really, you are right, because now Ukrainian defense forces uh, probably exactly is the at first front line is the shield of Ukraine, and after this is the shield of Europe, because we don't know who can be next, because our stupid neighbor Russia, their tyrants is the empire Georgia, Republic Ichkeria, and Europeans people must remember what they do during Soviet Union, Czech Republic, Hungary and Moldova. Now Russia is the same shit like a Soviet Union, and they don't wish good for us. They only kill, destroy us, and occupy us. Thanks, Batman, for these words. And yes, you're right. Main target of our project is to show real side of Ukraine, Ukrainian side of Ukraine, because some people now can took information from the source, some sources, listen about corruption, and give a question. Yes, as a Batman said, for what I must give help for him. At first, you give help not for the country in general. At first, help is the help for our soldiers, for our officers, for Ukrainian defense forces who now stay on the front line and destroy Russian invaders. It's most important part in Ukraine now. And if we will stop to support his, if we Ukrainians start fight against Russia, it will be catastrophe, tragedy. I don't know how give a word. And we must be ready. You hear dogs? Guys, you hear
Yeah, I
dogs?
heard dog now.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
just and yes, and if
And
we
it-
start to do this, I can't explain, and I don't know who will be next, because those Ukrainian people who will be under occupation Russian will not ask us. We won't fight or not want. We just will be mobilized by Russian government and go forward in the Europe. Is the set true, my dears? And this one main reason why we shouldn't stop support Ukrainian soldiers and other. And yes, and civilian side of Ukraine, it's too important, because our defenders, they stay on the front line for the civilian, for the people, and it's not so bad that civilian life doesn't stop. Civilian life now, yeah, people nervous, people tired from war, blackouts, Russian.
Sasha, we need to check. Один, два, три.
Okay, sound check, my dears. We are here. I'm sorry
Sasha, bring 3 buckets of internet.
Yeah, Pasha needed to go to the nearest internet well and bring 2 buckets worth of internet. So
I'm just looking for the general Ukrainian internet wire and connect to this stuff. And yes, I don't know on what moment we stopped, but my general.
We talked about Bartek have his speech. Yeah, you have your speech, so it's time for my speech. And my speech is that people need to understand that Ukraine is not about the government. It's not about the corrupted people. It's not about all this shit. It's about the normal people who live there, who smile, yeah, who are kind for us, for other people, and especially for the guys who are fighting for our freedom. And big thank you for all these guys who is working that I can walk streets in Kiev, yeah. And even when our phone is ringing, that is a right alarm. We can walk and don't be shy to walking. Yeah, we don't need to hide. And I think this is big thank you for all these guys that they are working, they are fighting, and we two normal guys from Poland can came to the Kyiv, yeah, and walking on the street and feel safe, yeah, because I don't have any moment that I afraid of a little bit.
Yep, exactly.
Yes, and you heard three speech, and I think this is the time of announce. Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, some years we with the guys
Cool.
do short trip in Ukraine. We visit Ukraine. Our Polish guys visit Ukraine and they visit Kyiv. We small time was in Lviv and we was in Ukrainian mountains, Carpathian. And for you, we made some materials. What we recorded, made a couple podcasts with the videos, and so soon. I will took time for editing all of this, and it will be I don't know. It will be a ready, fully finished video in a travel blogging style with a social and political context. I think that yes, because guys was very surprised. I mean, directly Blazhei, he sit left on me.
Other side, you're pointing at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, on video,
okay,
you both
okay,
me,
okay,
but
Yeah.
you
I'm below in the street. Yeah.
yes, and
We are boss and Bartek is I don't say what.
I'm providing bottom security.
yeah, both us. Next time we can change it. And yes, and as I know from the speech, from the direct talk, and Blazhei was very surprised. This trip was interesting. We had some rest. We make new things for us. We understand what we must do personally for give a help for Ukraine in general in media space on a front line for the civilian side. We understand how to do this and how we can be useful in this part, and I think that we will do this and always be good. And we just planned some structures after every video what we will post. I will make the community post. It will be Q&A post, and after every Q&A post, we will discuss.
I think you broke up. I think you broke up when you started talking about. So basically, what we're planning is to do an episode about our travels around Ukraine, and after that, we're gonna have a post about Q&A that you guys might have towards the actual episode about the travels. And after the Q&A, gather some questions. We're going to do this next broadcast with all three of us. We're going to be giving you answers to those questions, and we're going to do it this way. So an episode from traveling, Q&A post, and then Q&A broadcast.
I told same. What? Fuck! I told same.
But you broke up. Your internet broke up.
Yeah, your internet broke up.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will
You
be
need
funny.
to get a bigger bucket of internet.
It will be funny. It will be very funny journey for the people, especially that when we start recording with Bartek, we are normal poor guy from Poland, yeah, and we don't know what to record and even how. But the last movie was as a normal YouTuber with speak to camera and making shots, and you will see that our project is going in the right direction, yeah.
Yeah.
I think in future more. As now we can say that we do some materials, but in my small Ukrainian localsman opinion, it's not enough, and we must do more and more and more and more. But it's in the future. But now we must finish with our work, what we've done at this moment, and
I really want to show people the Donbass because the landscape there is like so beautiful.
I see. I now when Bartek told it, I think that because we have some guys who's doing a lot of great job, yeah, from Poland and helping Ukraine, but their media, Instagram, showing also they are directly in this part of the Ukraine where is a war. So the pictures where they are making it's from the close to the front line. Yeah, so the broken buildings, everything, and I think nobody in Poland don't show that it's normal living. It's the whole, almost all part of the, maybe not all part of the, yeah, because it's a wet word, but it's, in the big part of the Ukraine, it's nothing happened bad. Yeah, so people.
Yeah, there's no damaging. Like it's not like World War II fire bombings of cities. There's nothing like that happening.
Yeah, so I think it's that all media show that it's a war. Guys are fighting. Yeah, they are fighting for our freedom. It's interesting to show some broken buildings, but it's not interesting to show how normal people live in the city. Yeah, because when you see the screen with the blow building, with smoke inside, people yelling, you hear the sound of bombs or shooting. It's more interesting than normal people who's walking across the line or cross the street in the Kyiv. But I think people should see it, and understand that.
People should see this side as well.
Because it's the two side. What we see on the front line at first, destroyed building and blowing up around, is the result of the Russian world and the result of the Russian invasion. But in a civilian city, we see result of activity Ukrainian armed forces. Thanks for him, thanks for the Ukrainian soldiers. We have civilian city, and is the two different world too close to the Russian world and the normal Ukrainian life. It's too important to see for everybody how it's work, because is the two side, and we must understand both sides, what can be and what we have now. Because Kyiv, same situation. I remember Kyiv in a bad times when Kyiv was surrounded, totally surrounded, and it was. It's not looks like a Kyiv now. And what we have, we destroyed Russian forces near Kyiv. They disengaged, and we will show you how Kyiv living now, and how civilian people living in Kyiv. And I think is the two worlds, and you must understand all sides, near on a front line. And deep in the rear, because it is the same Ukraine.
Yep. All right. I guess this is enough to hopefully get you convinced to come over to the next episodes from this series about our travels in Ukraine. Hope you liked it. Hope you're gonna like it, and we expect a lot of questions in the Q&A section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, push the bell button and everything. And again, thank you for all your donations. They're very helpful. And I guess we'll see you soon and then in the first episode from our travels.
Yes, thanks, my dear, who are watching us, who are supporting us, who are supporting us. Every your donation is important for us, and thanks that you are support Ukraine, that you support Ukrainian army. It's too very, very important. Who don't watching this in online, who will watch this after, just to give a question in the comments. We will read this and we'll be prepared to the answer the next time. I hope that next broadcast will not be from village. I will be sit in a city with the electricity connectivity and with the internet. I hope that, but we fixed this problem. I'm so sorry for this shit what's happened during broadcast. I promise we'll not do more days. And yes, and see you later, my dears.
Yeah, and I thank you also because it's my second broadcast, so yeah, it's something new for me, but it's better and better. And I promise it will be better for sure.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, boy.
Take care. Have a good night, good morning, good day, wherever you are in the world.
See
All
you
the best for you.
later, my dears.